We've built something that's saving weeks and sometimes even months of time on electrical Revit projects. We have an example electrical project open in Revit, which has an architectural link loaded in, which has a whole bunch of specialty equipment families that need data devices. We also have an Excel sheet which has a master list of these different types of equipment, along with some parameters for data count and mounting height. So what we need to do is place a data device with these parameters for each corresponding architectural element based on an ID value. So if I go back into Revit, I'm going to go into our holo-blok add-ins, and if I click on Sync Data Devices, it's going to prompt me to select that Excel file, which I'll do. It's only going to prompt us the first time we run the tool because this is going to be saved into the project. Click on Open and give it a few seconds. And just like that, we placed 209 data devices at the associated architectural elements where this mounting height and data count are connected to those Excel values that we were just looking at. The thing is, not all of the specialty equipment families in the link are listed in the Excel file. Not all of them need data devices. So we created another tool where if I just click on Sync View Filters, it's going to very quickly create some view filters for us that we can then apply to control visibility. I'm just going to click on Add, and we'll see that there are these 4 view filters that were generated for us. So if I add all of these, I can set the associated architectural elements to be red. And with that, now we can see very easily which specialty equipment families need a data device versus the others that don't. Now there's lots of instances that come up where we might want to adjust the locations and do it for all of a given architectural family type. So I built another tool that allows us to just change the location of one of these elements. Let's say we want it to be on this face of the element instead. If I do that, and with that element selected, click on Adjust Device Locations. All of these are the same architectural element in this row here, and you'll see that all of those locations adjust relative to that element all at once. This also respects manual overrides. So if, say, I made a manual adjustment to this one, then I can adjust this one and make this the driver of the location for the others. And that's going to apply that adjustment to all of these families except for the ones that we adjusted manually. Also, there could be cases where we want multiple architectural families to be served by one device, in which case we can select multiple of these and click on Merge Data Devices. And when we merge, the data count is going to become the cumulative total of the devices that we merged. And it's also going to keep track of the count of how many different devices of each type are being served by that device. As anyone who's worked in the industry knows, there tend to be many updates and revisions throughout a project. So it's important to synchronize whenever there's a change that occurs to either our Excel data or the linked architectural elements. So let's just open up that Excel data again. All of these rows have been highlighted to indicate their status, where rows that don't have the data required for us to create that family are highlighted in gray. If there wasn't a valid match in the architectural link, it'll be highlighted in yellow. And if there is a valid match, it gets highlighted in green. So these all indicate that these families had data devices placed at them. But let's say we need to make some changes. We determine that this actually doesn't need a device. This one needs to be a data count of 3. This one needs to have a mounting height of 1200. And we're going to change this so that it has the data we need to create that family. We'll just save and close that. And if we go into our architectural link, what we're going to do is delete a few families. Let's just say these ones are going to get removed from the project, and we're going to add a few more over here. I'm just going to save that, go back to our electrical model. When those changes are loaded in, we can see those elements here. We still have data devices here where we don't need them anymore, and we need to add them to these devices. So in order to do that, we can just click on sync. But before doing that, we might want to see what changes are going to occur in the next sync. So we can generate a sync report where if I click that, it's going to prompt me to save out a report. And when we open that, it's going to give us a summary of the new devices that are being created and where they're being created, sorted by level and room number, showing those parameters that are going to be assigned. It's going to show a list of the parameter updates that are occurring, where the changes are highlighted in green. It's also giving us the element IDs of those, which we can use to select them in Revit to see more easily where these changes are occurring. And it's also going to tell us the orphan status, where elements are either orphaned by changes in the architectural model or the Excel sheet. So in Excel, we removed this data row from the list, and we deleted 4 architectural elements, so it's saying that these elements no longer have a valid match. So if we looked at that and we're content that it's not making any changes that we're not okay with, I can go back into Revit, just click on Sync, and it's going to apply those new updates where it says it's creating 16 new devices. It updated some parameters, and it also changed orphan status for a few elements. So we could just automatically delete any elements that no longer have an architectural or Excel match, but we're just adding an extra layer of control and validation where we can go into our schedules, and we have a schedule set up to isolate elements that have an orphan status. And from there, if we select these and validate for ourselves that we no longer need those devices, we can just delete them. Tools like this are eliminating enormous amounts of repetitive and error-prone work for our partners.